Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Thursday, May 2nd. It is 6:21 right now. Market's going to open in about 9 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and set up this room real quick, and we'll get started shortly with our analysis for today. It's got a few things here to update, and we should be good to go. Okay, looks good. One last thing here. And it looks like we are good to go. So let me get this link sent out to you guys here in the premium. All right, looks good. So as people join in, I'm going to go ahead and start market liquidity over here on the daily chart. Going down to the 8 hour. Going down to the 4 hour. Going down to the 2 hour. Going down to the 1 hour. Down to the 30 minute. Down to the 15 minute. Down to the 10 minute. And it looks like we're good to go. All right, guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Thursday, May 2nd. It is 6:24 right now. Market's going to open in about 6 minutes. I've marked up liquidity over here. Closest level of liquidity down below is going to be at 38,232, and the closest level above is going to be at 38,318. Let's see what's here so far. Morning, Daniel. Morning, Maria. Nick said, anyone know if you need to submit a payment method before requesting a payout? I don't think so. I mean, you don't need to, but you probably should, so that it's already there. Because the thing is, that's what happened to me when I got my first payout. I didn't set it up, and I actually have one payout that's kind of just in limbo. It's not a lot. It's like one of the very first payouts. It was like $300, and they just haven't paid me out because it wasn't set up initially. So you should have it set up. I don't think it's a really big problem because before you do request a payout, you'll have the option to update your payment method. But just a heads up, I do have a payment that's still in limbo. I'm pretty sure if I keep bugging them about it, they'll pay it out at the next payout. But it's in limbo. It's like a payout from like the first time I ever requested one. Yeah, exactly. Daniel said if it'll delay if you don't have it set up. Yeah, that's pretty much what happened with me. So you should have it set up, or you should try to set it up at least. It's not very, it doesn't take very long. So you can do it under the, there should be a tab on the left side, and you log into Apex. So let's see who else is here. Morning, Vimal. Morning, CJ. Morning, everybody. All right, guys, our marked up liquidity here. Closest level of liquidity down below is going to be at 38,232. Closest level above is at 38,318. Looking over here at our clean chart, I'll mark up 630 real quick. So I got 630 marked up, got 8 o'clock marked up. I'm going to go up to the 4-hour time frame. Markup structure right there. Same structure from yesterday. Structure down here. And structure down here. Going down to the 1 hour. Super small. All right, so I'm gonna go back to the 1 minute. So we got 2 1-hour structures above, and we got 1 4-hour structure below, not far down. So this right here is a 4-hour support level. And this up here is the 1-hour resistance level. Same with this one up here. All right, looks good. So there's our clean chart. Going over to our main chart, let me check the news for today. There was news at 4:30, 4:30, 5:30, 7:30. Okay. So 4:30. $5:30. We have more news at 7:30. All right, solid. So we had mixed news this morning, and then we have medium impact news at 7, low impact news at 7:30. So nothing too crazy coming forward, but we'll see what happens here when the market actually opens. ATR is currently at 9 right now, so it's not super heavy. It's actually pretty low. We'll see what happens here in about 15 seconds when the market opens up. All right, market is opening in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Market is now open, guys. Huge candle right here, pretty much expected. It's having a late reaction to the news as market opens up. So the PRB over here will possibly be for a buy. Hasn't rejected yet, so we'll come back to that later. BV3 over here. There's nothing setting up right now, at least not yet. Here is clean chart and liquidity. So the top level liquidity got hit. I mean, I wouldn't have touched it because it's such a huge candle. We'll see for that retest if it does come back up. But you guys can see we have a pretty crazy candle here on open. So we're going to wait again for the market here to stabilize a little bit. The trend is starting to shift up, so that's a good thing. So the PRB here is setting up. We have the, wait, how do these candles look way different? Let me refresh this. looks way different for some reason. Okay, looks good now. Okay, so the PRV here is setting up. We have the rejection right there on the. I'm gonna refresh all my charts real quick because for whatever reason that chart was all screwed up. I want to make sure everything here is up to date. All right, all of my candles or all my charts have been updated. Make sure you guys do that. So whenever you guys open your charts, if you guys didn't open your charts or didn't refresh your charts for the day, I recommend you guys, go back and refresh your charts because as you guys can see here, my charts look kind of funky. Like this one looked normal, the main chart, but the PRV chart over here looked kind of weird. All right, so there's no entries here. We still don't really have much of a direction. We have price going back and forth. We still have this bullish trend here. So with the pivot, so regarding the direction here, we might be getting a swing back to the upside, but I mean, who knows? The momentum divergence here is still bearish. So, I mean, there's a lot that can happen here. It looks really unusual how the everything is kind of looking right now because the trend is bullish. The momentum divergence is super bearish right now. It hasn't really shifted at all because these candles keep spiking back and forth. So yeah, just keep an eye out for this. We really would just need a momentum signal. So we would like to get a momentum signal at some point because that momentum signal will signify, some sort of retracement or reversal. But right here, it looks like price is just ranging. Same thing that's been happening for the past couple of days, as you guys know. This is what we've experienced from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and now again today. A huge push to the upside, establish a ceiling, and then push right back down. There's not really too much here to really work with. We got to wait for some sort of direction here to push at least, which is not really confirmed yet. I'm hoping price drops back down lower because I would like that sell signal to come up. There we go. So we had a pending sell signal right here. This is what we're kind of looking for because this is going to confirm that, momentum is actually shifting back and forth and it's not necessarily just going one direction. So we have this pending sell signal right here. Let's take a look at the retail sentiment. Retail sentiment is currently 58% short. This indicates that 58% of retail traders are currently selling right now. So you typically want to do the opposite and buy. So this is fine. We're getting the retracement right here on the chart. That's kind of what I wanted because now if price swings back up, we can start looking for some possible clean buys. If price continues to drop, that's fine too. We'll look for some sells there. Looking over here at the fundamentals, the fundamentals are currently up about 200 points. So they're pretty high right now. Looking at this here, it says stocks open higher after Fed decides to hold rates steady. You can see this news event came up and you can see prices now dumping down. So CNBC over here reported that it's opening higher and it did the complete opposite. It came right back down, which is typical for CNBC News. CJ over here also mentioned that a high low momentum and liquidity hit. So right here, there was a higher high. The sell signal broke and closed past pivots 1 and 2. This right here was a high low momentum scalp. However, it was touching the sessions, opening price, news price, a lot of red flags there, so I wouldn't have taken it. And also right here, the liquidity down below got hit for a full TP. Thanks, CJ, for the heads up there. For anybody who decided to take any of these trades here, you guys saw the liquidity was already marked out here pre-market. So once we have the zone up here is pretty much established for the most part. It's a huge zone though, so I'll probably make some adjustments to the zone a little later. But this is going to be the 1 minute resistance level. I'll probably tighten it up a little later if price does come back up to this area, but I'll just have it marked up for now. So there goes the 1 minute resistance level above. So looking at this right here, you guys can see how the retracement's happening. This is completely fine. We're now in a bearish trend. So if this is the case, we can possibly look for a possible, sell here. So what I'm looking for here is I'm looking for price to either consolidate for a bit, even retrace up a little bit, provide a retracement in the momentum divergence, and then look for the correction back to the downside. Like a head and shoulders pattern, basically. So let me see if there's any red flags down here. There probably is going to be because the sessions are down here. Okay, so there is a Asia low down here. A lot of the sessions are down here actually. So price does look a bit overextended. So what I would like to see here is I'd like to see some retracement. Um, I mean, it might come down a bit far, but I would like to see some retracement and then continuation to the downside. It's getting really close to the sessions down here, which is where I don't want it to be. I mean, if it stays down here, that's completely fine. I can't really do anything about it. But I would like to start to see some maybe consolidation around this area, retracement, and continuation back down. But it's bearish now, so we can possibly start looking for a possible buy here. I mean, sorry, possible sell. All right, so we need the retracement to push up a little hard. Because right now, it's too close to the sessions down here. Not really looking to take any trades around this area, of course. So I would need this to push up a bit. Might even bounce off the session. So I might touch the sessions here and then maybe come back up. If not, it might continue dropping, or it might just consolidate around this area down here for a bit. But again, like I said, I need this to kind of push up kind of hard. Like I need this to basically fill this candle here and at some point possibly come back down. Because I don't want to trade anywhere near the sessions down here. I need the entry to happen a little higher. Or if it continues to drop, that's fine too. Or I mean, I guess it's going to be close to these other sessions down here too. So if it drops further, I would need it to kind of retrace up to here and then come back down. Like the entry would have to happen in between. You guys can see the momentum divergence is starting to shift a little bit. Let's see right here. Starting to shift back up. But it needs to shift up pretty hard, like basically up to this middle area before I can start looking for any possible continuations to the downside. All right, ATR is currently 22.4. We're in this big correction to the upside, which is exactly what we wanted. So I want this to push up even higher if possible. Maybe reject off the pivots and then come back down from there. It's a little too low still. I need this to push up a bit higher. Maybe up to this area right here. It's not going to work for us down here. It's too close to the sessions. Because if we try to take a sell here, you guys can see how close it is to this area. So we need this to retrace up a bit higher. But you guys can see the divergence down here, swinging bullish. Let's see, Nick said possible MPS. Yeah, it looks like there was an MPS up there. Well, for me personally, I wouldn't have messed with the MPS because this specific candle is touching the sessions. So this could have been like, you know, a big manipulation back up higher. But yeah, I just I wouldn't touch anything that's like anything near these sessions over here. At least not yet. There's no PRB yet. So again, I still would like price to push up higher. If it doesn't, I mean, that's completely fine, but ideally that's kind of where I would like it to go. If not, I guess we can probably catch an entry if a high-low scalp happens down here. But like I said earlier, it's too close to the session. So even if we do get a high-low scalp down here, it's gonna be in the way. Like it's probably gonna touch the sessions. Okay, so price looks like it's doing what I mentioned earlier. So I said earlier, if price gets down to the sessions, it's probably just going to consolidate around here, and that's pretty much what's happening. It's just consolidating around this area before it breaks out. It's going to break out eventually to the downside or to the upside. Either way, it's too close to the session, so I don't think we'll be able to have any opportunity here for entry. Otherwise, you know, we need price to kind of climb up a little bit further again to this area. And then again, like I said, look for that correction back down. But I would not catch any corrections within this area right here. So if the divergence happens right here, obviously I'm not going to take it because it's going to be touching the sessions. That's pretty much where it's going to end up. All right. So what I could see here, if this continues to consolidate, because I'm looking at the divergence, and the divergence isn't really changing yet, but if it kind of just sits sideways here for a little bit and it breaks below, and then maybe on the following candle, that's where I would take my entry. So I might not take it on the initial break and close, but if it does fill this middle area, then great. Otherwise, I mean, either way, I'm looking for the same pattern. I'm looking for retracement here, continuation, or if price just drops from this point here, something like that. If the buy signal comes up, that's fine. That's pretty much going to invalidate the sell signal. So we're not going to be able to take the momentum divergence that I was looking for, but so be it if that becomes the case, because then price can just come right back down after. So I wouldn't mind if the buy signal comes up and it actually pushes up super far, like up to this area, rejects off the sessions, and then comes back down. Because then at that point, we have this whole middle area right here to trade in, right? So I wouldn't see that as a big deal. Let's check the news at 7:30. So at 7:30, we have factory orders month over month. It's medium impact. They're forecasting it to be positive. So we got about 17 minutes till news. So we're gonna have to hopefully get something by then. If not, then we'll go from there. All right, so we got price coming back down. And it's not going to work out for us here. Yeah, so it's coming back down right here. You can see the divergence is starting to shift. This entry is obviously not going to work out for us because obvious reasons. If you guys want to take it, I mean, feel free. I'm not going to take it here. It doesn't meet my criteria. It's one of my red flags, of course. Yeah, it's touching the session, so I'm not going to mess with it. So my setup here is coming up, but it's right at the session. So obviously it's one that I'm going to sit out of. Yeah, unfortunately the sessions was right there. So I'm not going to be able to take this trade here. So what I would do, because the divergence here, I mean, it's crossed, but it's not like super duper clear. If this candle here closes as a pretty decently strong red candle, and it's not too close to the sessions below, I think this could be a late entry or a follow-up entry for the high-low scalp. Again, I think it'll be too close to the sessions below, so I don't think it's something that I would mess with. We have about 20 seconds left on this here. Because the divergence did cross, but I don't think it's fully, yeah, it's too risky now, like Andreas said. So I'm not going to take the trade here. Again, the high-low scalp, this is the setup that I was looking for, but because it was touching the sessions, unfortunately, I couldn't take that trade there. It just didn't meet my criteria. I would have been okay with maybe taking the follow-up right here because the divergence here has just basically started to expand. But again, it's like close to the next sessions down below, so I'm not going to mess with it. So this was the entry that I was actually looking for, though. The high-low scalp. Unfortunately, none of my ideal setups came up because I wanted it to push up and then give the same setup, but up here, which it didn't do because it just came right back down. And I was hoping that for this one right here, it would come down a little more, and then we'd get the divergence down here, so I can take the entry here. And that's what I was talking about with the later entry here. But I mean, it's all good. I just wouldn't have taken it because of the at that point, I'm kind of just forcing the trade, right? Because the divergence didn't happen right there. The divergence happened right here. So it's all good. We'll wait for the next one. That would have been a really nice entry. That was like exactly what I was looking for. It doesn't always come up as clean as you like, and it's better to just wait for the next one. So now we wait for the next entry here. And it sucks when price gets into this range that's kind of too tight in between the sessions because there's just no room to take any entries here. Now we just gotta wait for the next opportunity. A bunch of the liquidities here got hit. I'm not sure if anybody took any of them, but Like basically all of these here got hit for anybody who was looking to take liquidity. Yeah, so all of the levels right here down below got hit. This lower level is the first one, this one, this one, this one. So basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 levels right here got hit for liquidity. The PRB over here, let's see the PRB. So this might, yeah, this would be the PRB here, guys. If this candle closes red, which it just did, this is actually the PRB that is currently running right now for a sell. We had the rejection right there. We had the space candle right here, space, rejection right there. And that's the setup for the PRB. So sells look like they can still be valid here. The only problem is that there's just no other sells here for us to take. At least we do have that confluence there for the sell. So if we do have a sell entry that comes up, great. The only problem here is that it doesn't look like we're going to have any more sell entries because the MPS already came up. Breakout V3 continuation came up right here already. The high-low scalp came up over here already. There'd probably be another high-low scalp right here, but again, I wouldn't mess with it because it's too close to the, it would just be too close to the sessions below. It's like impossible for us to take that trade there. It would have to touch the sessions. So I wouldn't even mess with this high-low here. I'll draw some structure here so that you guys can kind of see where price is bouncing off of. So you can see prices break and retesting the support level down here. So break and retest off that support level right there. The range hasn't really been established yet, though. So there's a support level right there. Price is breaking back below. I think this is going to be the area of consolidation. It's probably going to be a lot of fake outs happening between this session and this session down here. We got about 10 minutes till news. So we'll see where price goes. Here's our clean chart. So when new structure gets established, I'll mark it up. It looks like once the new lower low is established down here, we can probably draw that as a support, and that's probably going to be the area of range. So this is the pending level right there. It's not closed yet, but if it does close and it ends up establishing, that would be the lower level. So for the momentum divergence, I mean, technically you can take, the crossovers, but for me personally, I only take one per momentum. I think that keeps the probability where it should be. Because if you take all of them, I mean, there's going to be opportunities where they will come up, but a lot of times they're going to be a lot of fake outs. Like for example, over here, we got a buy signal, cross, retrace, cross back up right here. This would be the entry. That'd be one. There's no entry here for the sell. This one right here would be the one down here because we had the sell signal here, bearish divergence, bullish divergence, swing back down on this red candle. And that's where the entry would happen right here for this specific one. So now we're just looking for the retracement. We're looking for another momentum signal. So I would like to see a green buy signal come up, push price up maybe higher to this area, and then come back down. Yeah, I think that would be ideal because looking over here at the structure, so we currently have a lower high right here, right? We have a lower low right here. So what I would like to see is I'd like price to kind of push up a little bit higher than this point, come back down. And when we have that, we'll have a higher high right here. And if we have that higher high, we can establish a resistance zone, right? Because if you look over here on the clean chart, we have no resistance in the middle right here. So if price is to push up at least to this area and come back down, then at that point, we'll have a 1 minute resistance zone right here. And then we'll have an actual area for range. within this middle area. So you guys kind of see how I'm thinking ahead, because we don't have a resistance point there. We need to have some sort of resistance. You guys understand that we're currently in a ranging market. So if we're in a ranging market, where is the resistance going to be placed, right? It's going to be here in the middle. So that's what I'm looking for. And that just comes with repetition, right? If you trade something over and over and over again, you understand that, okay, price is in a range this week, or it's been a range for like the past like couple months actually. Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a range at some point, and I will see where that range gets established, because it needs to be a higher high, of course. You can see again right here, we have a buy signal that's pending, but it's a lower high. So like we need price to push up higher. I need that buy signal to come up, and I need that buy signal to push up at least above this area here, past this line. Because once it pushes it past this line, it's going to be a higher high, and then we can establish resistance from there. So you can kind of think ahead and see, okay, this is probably what's going to happen. So if that's the case, then I mean, even if you want to speculate in between, you can, which I've done before, but I don't really do as much, especially not here in the live session. All right, so we got price kind of just sitting right here at the sessions. Again, like I said, I'd like price to push up because I'd like to see that higher high get established. I mean, either way, we're kind of stuck within this area between the sessions, so there's not going to be much for us to take here. But you guys can see the momentum divergence over here starting to shift up. It's starting to spread out pretty nice. Yeah, Nick said he's waiting till after news, which is perfect because the news is forecasted to be positive, right? So if the news is forecasted to be positive, it's going to push price higher to where we're expecting from. So we want it to push it higher. So we might have to wait until the news passes here at 7. The good thing is that the 7:30 news is like low impact, so it's not going to be too much to worry about. Yeah, so the news at 7:30 is going to be low impact, so it's not really much to. It probably wouldn't push price very much. At 7:30, we have gas stock change. That's normal. Happens every month, and it doesn't really affect the market very much unless there's something going on in the Middle East, which is not happening right now. All right, so the volatility here just died down pretty much. There's not really much going on. Price is just sitting in between the sessions. So like I said earlier, this is probably where price is going to consolidate, and that's exactly what's happening here. Whenever you guys see the sessions kind of set up some sort of range, odds are it's probably going to range within that area. And that's why the sessions are important, because that's where manipulation happens, right? You can tell a lot of people are probably, and I'm sure like right here, as you guys can see this green candle, see how this green candle broke and closed past the sessions? Obviously, a lot of people are probably looking to take some buys there, right? Because they think price is going to correct back to open, which could happen. Odds are it probably won't, because this is probably going to be a fake out. And it'll probably just consolidate here for a little bit up until news price. Once news price comes up, it'll either go where it needs to go, or it's going to go opposite for another manipulated push. So we'll see. We'll see what happens here. Let's take a look at CNBC. Any updates here? All right. Crazy how many layoffs are happening. So if you guys have seen over here, Peloton just laid off 15% of the staff. Tesla just laid off like all of their EV charging employees, like 500 employees. Google laid off another 100 of core employees as they move positions to India and Mexico. With this being the case, NFP is going to be pretty high impact tomorrow, right? Because a lot of layoffs are happening. It's not looking good for the job market. So with that said, tomorrow's NFP, as you guys know, expect like some really, really big spikes in price tomorrow morning with regard to that, because that's non-farm payroll literally ties in with the layoffs. I just expect that to have an impact on the market tomorrow. And price is pretty much doing exactly what we just talked about. So it's literally just sitting on the sessions right here. I mean, the consolidation here couldn't be more obvious, right? It's going to consolidate until news. The news here isn't really high impact, but it's going to have some sort of impact, hopefully, to push price. Yeah, Daniel said Tesla laid off a bunch of people here at the Reno factory a couple of weeks ago. They didn't tell anyone, just turned off their badges. When they went to work, couldn't get in. That's how they knew traffic was backed up for like a mile. That's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. That's kind of what happened with their EV department here, like in California too. They were super blindsided. They didn't even know it was going to happen. Yeah, Nick said all tech companies shows these tech guys really don't give a fuck about the economies they conduct business in. Yeah, I mean they really don't. I mean they have to take cuts. Like I could understand why Tesla's taking cuts. You know, the weird thing is that Tesla's taking cuts, but they're selling so many cars. It's crazy. Uh, well, I mean, at least in my area, if you guys are familiar with like Orange County, like everybody here, even LA, like LA and Orange County, the whole California, literally everybody here has a Tesla. I'm glad I got rid of my Model S when I did because that was like when people started getting Teslas and they're everywhere now. I think I see more Teslas than like any other brand. Maybe it's just my area, but for the most part, it seems like California in general, just everybody has one. So they're selling cars. There's just not I don't think they could keep up. Like they had a big bulk sale like of Teslas, and then now people are just like not buying anymore. Gotcha. Yeah, Jamie said they're not selling there in the Midwest. I think their charging infrastructure is not as great out there. That's why as well. You guys have actual weather. Here in California, it's ideal because it doesn't really get too cold. Batteries tend to deteriorate, and they're harder to hold charge when the weather is colder. From what I've heard, I've never had to deal with it, but it's kind of what I've heard. Daniel said Reno, there's a million forerunners. Yeah, makes sense. If I was living in the Midwest or like somewhere like those areas, I would have a truck, you know, or something like that, or even like Seattle, like areas like that for sure. I'd have a truck. Rivian's going out of business, I think. You guys are following Rivian. I know some people are like hardcore Rivian followers. Their factory is actually here in my city in Irvine, or their headquarters. And yeah, they're basically going bankrupt at this point. Daniel's asking if I still have a Taycan. Yeah, I do. I still have a Taycan Turbo. It's a good everyday car. I mean, people are still buying it, but the value went down so much that it's just going to be my everyday car. I paid so much for the car, and it's like I don't want to sell it for like 50%. It's kind of a waste. All right, so we have the news candle right here. There's not really much happening. Let's see what happened with the news. News was, I mean, it's pretty much neutral. It came out exactly where they anticipated it to be. I was hoping it was going to be more impactful so that we can have some sort of push here, but we just don't have that push. I was also hoping we'd have a buy signal here, but we don't have that buy signal either. So if you guys remember earlier, we had a pending buy signal on this big green candle right here. I was hoping it'd push up because we want that higher high to come up. That way we can establish a resistance zone, but it hasn't come up yet. Price is coming back down from here. And I'm hoping we'll get some volatility from now until 7:30. You guys can see the volatility here died down quite a bit. It was currently at 25, 24. It's now down to 18. So it's actually dropped down quite a bit in the past couple, like past 10, 15 minutes or so. So I'm hoping the volatility here picks back up because typically we don't want to take trades when it's below 15. At that point, market's just going sideways, which is pretty much what's happening here. And you guys can see here that price is now starting to pick back up. Okay, great. So market is picking back up right here after news. Looks like everyone was kind of just sitting tight, waiting for the news to pass. And then now we're starting to get some volatility back in the way. But it's just ranging within these two sessions right here. So personally, I would like price to drop down a bit further. The next level of session is like pretty far down. So I wouldn't mind if price kind of comes down here, retraces up, and then comes right back up, comes back down. So the divergence looks good, but I need it to drop down further. It's not far enough because if it stays within this area, this is going to be within the fake out area right here. And then what might happen here is price might just pull back into the range, which we don't want. We definitely don't want to trade within this because it's too small of a range. If the range was wider, like I would be okay if price was ranging between these two sessions up here. This would be okay, right? Because we could trade within this area. Down here, this just doesn't work for us. The range here is way too tight. There's so many opportunities to get caught in fake outs. You know, I've also measured this area right here, price range. Yeah, it's like 40 points. It's under 40 points. Way too small right there. So ideally, I'd like price to continue dropping from where it's currently at. At least a little more space. So I would like it to drop maybe down to here at least, so that we can get price to drop down, we get the retracement, and then you come back down from here, right? So I want to create enough range, enough space here so that we can range within this area and still take trades. I don't want it too close because if it's too close, then we're kind of stuck here, right? We're stuck within this area. It's going to be hard to take a trade within here. We also would like a buy signal. Buy signal would be ideal here too. So this is just a fake out. As you guys can see, price faked out and it pulls right back into the range, just like we've been seeing pretty much every day this week. CJ says scalp high low. High low scalp hit CP, didn't take it because of the sessions. Yeah, there was another high low scalp right here that CJ just mentioned, but again, it was too close to the session, so I wouldn't have messed with it, of course. Yeah, it didn't close past it either. It got really close to it, but didn't close necessarily past it. And then I wouldn't have taken this one right here, of course, because of the divergence. The only time I'll take a high low scalp like that, if it's like super low, is if the divergence is happening on that candle. I think the divergence here is probably one of the better it's one of the better confluences that you can use if you're like kind of on the fence with an entry. Because if they line up, you know, they're just like there's certain price like areas where if they line up all together with your entry, it kind of gives you a sense of a triple confluence in a sense, because you have your entry, you have the trend, you have the divergence, you have like so many things pointing in a certain direction that that it helps, you know, with your confidence of like taking that entry and trusting that it'll push at least 10 points, because 10 points isn't very much. If you think about it, 10 points is pretty manageable as long as the volatility is high enough. All right, perfect. So we're getting a buy signal right here. I'm hoping the buy signal does close. So we got a new structure down here, another support level. Now we just have three levels right here. I mean, I guess you guys don't really need these. I'll take these off. You don't really need these markers here. You can kind of tell that it's, you know, it's support and resistance. So just to clean it up, I'd rather have it clean anyways. Because you guys already know, like, you know, support turns into resistance, resistance turns into support, etc. I'll just mark up the structure and you guys can see where the balances are actually happening. And that buy signal didn't close. Saw your message, Nick. We scared it away, huh? We scared away that buy signal. Okay, so price is coming back down. Um, so I'm gonna look at this high-low scalp down here just in case we have a divergence, right? So like it goes back to what I was just saying earlier. So this will probably sit around this area for a bit. I mean, obviously I wouldn't take this specific candle, but if it sits around this area for a bit and it gives enough time for the divergence here to shift back to a bearish divergence, then this is like one of the high-low scalps that I would be possibly okay with taking, right? So like right here, for example, if this red candle breaks and closes past this lower low right here, then this is probably going to be a decent entry to take because it's going to line up with the divergence right here, right? So I'll look at this candle here. It's got to be pretty obvious, though. It can't be like something where it's like a maybe, right? Where it's kind of just flickering down this lower area here, because we need to for sure be below this level and we can't have it be shifting, at the very last second. So right here, no setup, of course. It would have to close like way down here and have to like for sure close down there. And it's not looking like that's going to happen here. No, definitely not. All right, so there's no entry there. I'm not even looking to take any entries here now because you can see the divergence here has already shifted. So, all right. Looks like we're going to be waiting again for a bit. This could be another fake out. So this could fake out again, possibly. That's what you want to be careful for. But you guys can see over here, when the divergence happens, you can see that it gives you a head start into like the direction where price is likely to go. So this will probably keep dropping a little further because the divergence here did set up, but it didn't break and close past the high low here. So there's no confluence for me to take entry. Like I'm not going to take an entry just because the divergence happened. The divergence is a confluence to the entry that we were looking to take. The only time I'll take a divergence is when it's like the first one from the momentum. And you can see right here, it is dropping back down further. Didn't actually break and close below it though. At this point, I think it's too low. Yeah, exactly. Nick said it's got to be a clean break. So I would have been okay with it if if this candle happened right here on this candle, then I would have for sure been okay with taking it. But at this point, no. But you guys can see how the divergence gave you guys a heads up, right? So like this candle here was a small red candle. The divergence was already split. So you can kind of anticipate that, okay, this is probably going to follow through and drop even further from there. But again, I'm only looking for quality entry. This isn't a quality entry to me. This would be considered a risky entry. I mean, it would meet the criteria for the direction of price, but there's not enough confluences there for me to want to take it. I think price is trying to push down to the next sessions. So the next session is down here at 37,924. So that is the next level of sessions below. All right, divergence. Let's get this divergence back up. Get that buy signal. So yeah, ideally right here, this is kind of what I'm looking for now. I want the buy signal to come up. Obviously, we're not getting a higher high here, so we're just establishing zones off the lower lows. So it's a staircasing down right now. What I'd like to see here is a buy signal come up, and then we can take a possible breakout V3 continuation here, right? That's probably the next ideal move. I would like to see a retracement though, but I don't know if we'll ever get that because the buy signal keeps disappearing. So we have a new zone down there. So the thing that I would look out for is a reversal. I think the reversal is probably going to happen at some point. The reversal is going to happen and it's going to establish a zone. So if this here, for example, if this establishes a zone down here, then this might create the big range, right? So this might be the range right here. It might push up and then come back down. So if that's the case, I could just take these off and you'll see that there's a big range within this area. We don't know that yet though, but once we do know that, we can look towards that. Yeah, exactly. Nick said we could still come back up and range again. Dow was green for the day as well as NQ. Yeah. So I mean, let's take a look. So retail sentiment over here is pretty much the same. This hasn't changed very much. The sellers are still there. Looking at the fundamentals are currently at 45 points, 46 points. I mean, there's low impact news here at 7:30. All right, buy signal. Let's get this buy signal here. Pending buy signal. Man, this market sucks. Every day the market sucks. It's like we could hope for the best, but it just never happens. Market's been like this for the past couple of months, which again, like I keep reminding you guys, it's very unusual to see the market like this during the spring season, especially May, and especially for it being the beginning of the month. Usually the beginning of the month, there's a lot of volatility. But it's okay. If this is the way that the market's going to start moving or it's going to continue moving, then we'll just have to make some adjustments, right? We'll have to make some adjustments. I mean, there's not really many adjustments that need to be made. It's just not adapting, but like switching to different strategy types, more of a sideways strategy. I just noticed there was a CV entry right here, but it was at the sessions. I don't know if anybody was even looking at that. We haven't really looked at CV entries because they haven't been coming up as often. But you can see over here, there's a double body right here. This candle was smaller, and this was a CV entry. However, it was right at the sessions and news price, so probably not one that we would have taken. I just wanted to point that out. There was one CV entry right there. So we finally got the buy signal here. This is perfect. It's exactly what we were waiting for. Yeah, now that we have this buy signal here, we can look for the correction back down. If it corrects back up further, then that's fine too. It doesn't really matter to us. The trend here is bearish though, so we're probably gonna want to look for some sells. All right, so prices within this small consolidation area right here. This could fake out, come right back below into this lower range. But the volatility here is super, super slow. So, I mean, we'll have to see. I actually don't mind it pushing up a little more. Like I'd rather have it push up a little more, at least to like maybe the fourth pivot right here, level 4 pivot, and then maybe start coming down. Because when it pushes up there, it's going to lose its steam with momentum right here, right? So the momentum divergence here will start to set up for a sell if we get that push up a little further. Let's see, Rashida said there's a 15-minute double bottom. Let's see, minute. Did you mean 5-minute? 10-minute? It looks like there's a double bottom here on the 5 and 10. The 15, I don't see. Or actually, yeah, you're right. If the candle closes green, it could be a double bottom. My bad. I didn't realize that was a green candle. It was like a little doji. Gotcha. Yeah, so 15-minute is setting up as well. But that candle just opened. So it's 7:15 right now. Still got a lot of time. Gotcha. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, Rashida sees the double bottom right here off this level. Looks about right. It's just when I was on it, it looked like a small doji. Now you can kind of see it because the candle's a little green. Yeah, so it's actually lighting up at the 15, the 10, and the 5. 5 actually closed already. It's not bottom, it's not like leveled out, but it's pretty much aligning. Went down from the 15 down to the 1 minute actually. 15, 10, 5, and 1 right here. The 1 was actually the first candle here that showed up. Not a clean double bottom, but it's a CV entry, so lower a low red candle with a smaller green candle right here. All right, so that's something to look out for, just in case. So this could be a fake out. So see how price is pulling back into this consolidation range right here? This could be a fake out and just come right back down. So that's something to look out for too. So this could be the fake out. This could be another CB entry actually, but it's at the session, so I wouldn't mess with it. There's a high here with a green candle. This red candle is obviously smaller. So this could be another CB entry. The only problem with this here is that it is at the sessions, which is a red flag, area of manipulation, which we would hold off on taking. So that's technically a CB entry right there, it looks like. Price is coming back down further. Looks like that CB would have hit full TP. We're on its way down to it. Yeah. So that would have been the CB entry there that I was just referring to earlier, guys. So as you guys can see, during these sideways markets, these CB entries work very well. They're meant for a sideways market. You know, V1 variation, CB entries, etc. They work very well during these sideways markets. The only problem is that we have all these red flags here. You know, if these red flags weren't here, it'd be great. Also, if we had a divergence here with the momentum divergence, then I would have been even more inclined to take a trade like that. Or even so here's the thing that you can look at too. So see how we have the CB entry here? If you guys see a reversal pattern and then it's followed by a momentum divergence, then you could probably take that trade there. It doesn't really matter because like, so for example, right here, this is a CB entry right here with the pending buy signal. You guys can see how it kind of established that reversal pattern. And you can see how like on this next candle over here, it closed with a divergence, right? So if you're too scared to take the CB and you wanted to take the divergence after, you would just wait for this to happen, wait for the confluence right here or the confirmation, and then you would just enter late right there. Kind of same with this one right here too, with this CB entry, right? You would have been scared to take that entry. You would just wait for the next candle here, and then you would have taken the sell at this point, and you would have still hit your TP right there. So you guys can see how all of this stuff kind of ties in together. Like you don't have to apply the strategies as is, but you can use a confluence to get in late. Like if you're too scared to take a momentum scalp, like say for example here, well, I mean these pivots, these momentum scalps are already kind of set up. But if you guys can see if like there's no momentum, so say for example there's momentum, but the divergence hasn't confirmed yet. Right. So like say for example, well, this is like pre-market, so it's not going to line up. But if I see an example, I'll show you guys. The momentum divergence here is good to identify basically a late entry if you're trying to get in late somewhere. Because the divergence is going to follow. So like you can either use one of the indicators as a lagging one, and you can use one as a leading one. So for example, you can use the V1 variation as a leading indicator of a reversal, and you can use the momentum divergence as a lagging indicator, right? So you have the initial reversal here, and this would be used as a lagging indicator to confirm that, okay, price is going to keep pushing that direction, and then you can enter late. So yeah, I mean, other than that, there's not really much here to take. It's 7:20 right now. I was really hoping we'd be able to get an entry between 7 and 7:30, but you guys can see here from the low volatility, there's not really much. I mean, the ATR is pretty high at 23, but it's because we're getting these like bigger spikes right here. We're getting like small candles and we're getting a big candle out of nowhere. And see where this goes. Let's see, Nick said news in 10 minutes, Dow is green by 100 points now. Let's check. Yeah, so the Dow's back up almost. It's at 80 right now. It looks like price is kind of just climbing its way up. All right, so we got the divergence down below already over here for a sell. No sell signal yet. All right, so we're getting it to come right back down right here. Here again at this area is another CB entry. So you can see we have a higher with a green candle. We have a small red candle here, and you can see how the divergence happened on this candle right here, right? So the divergence happened. The entry would have happened if you wanted to enter late, like I said earlier, another setup here. The only problem is that it's at the session. So if it wasn't at the sessions, I'd be fine with taking the entry. But again, it's at the session, so it's not an area where I'd like to be trading. Yeah, Patricia said in all my years of trading, this happens to be the worst trading conditions I've ever seen. This has to be the worst trading conditions I've ever seen this year. Yeah, and I agree with you too, Patricia. It's been crazy because like you don't expect like the market to move like this during this time of the year. And it's been doing this for the past couple of months. Like every month we're like, okay, it's gonna get better next month. And it just never gets better, right? It's been like this since January. January, these are like January market conditions where the market's kind of slow, it doesn't really pick up, there's no direction. And then it usually starts to fizzle out like in March, right? Because we're in spring now. So the thing is, we're in full swing of like trading for the year. Like we're in busy season, but the market isn't really moving like that. It's moving like we're in the summer or in the winter. Winter and summer are the slowest times to trade. Um, Spring and fall are typically where it picks up, but and we're getting close to summer. It's May 2nd. We have a month till June, and the markets still haven't really picked up yet. And this just goes back to like this goes back to what I was saying in the past, right? So like you can't just get stuck to like one trading strategy because you have to be able to adapt with the market. Like this market right here, this is not a directional market. You can't trend trade in a market like this. I mean, technically you can, but when it ranges, like for example, here it's swinging right back up, right? Now that it's swinging right back up, this is kind of where you'll get screwed. You can't trend trade. Like if you enter so late down here and it reverses on you, you're screwed because it doesn't keep dropping for the entire day. It kind of just ranges through the day. So like the best way to like, well, like one of these guys here. So if you guys have seen this guy here, New Trades, he's from Apex. He's been posting like some crazy profits, and he's like, I talk to like I know all the people in Apex who make a lot of profits, right? We're all kind of like in the same circle. Like they see me post a lot of profits, so we talk to each other. So the way he's trading is he's trading off the basically the tops and the bottoms. He's just catching tops and bottoms. He's been doing it for the past 3 months, and that's how he's been making a lot of money trading. So I'll try to figure out a way to like kind of incorporate that. That's why I was looking for the higher high here, because you can see how we have a bunch of lower lows here, but a bunch of reasons here to kind of get screwed, right? Because price, you can take the buy here, you get screwed. Take the buy here, you get screwed. Take the buy here, you get screwed again. And then right here, if you took this buy, you'd be hitting the jackpot at this point. And then again, right here, you have a higher high. So at this point, you can kind of see price maybe turn back to the downside, possibly at some point once the range has been established. So yeah, don't worry, guys. This market kind of sucks, but like I keep in communication with like the people who make the most money within certain firms. Like when I was in FTMO, I knew who was making the most profit there because I was like one of the guys that were making consistent profits. Same with Apex. People see me in Apex and they know that I make a lot of profit every day. We kind of just share ideas. So if the market stays this way, it's completely fine. I'll find a way to kind of I mean, we'll keep trading the same way, but I'll look for ways to kind of pull profits from these ranging markets. I think the CV is probably going to be one of the best tools for us. We might not even have to trend trade at that point, just depending on how the market's moving. If the market continues to go back and forth, like how it's moving now, we'll probably look for some CV entries, not even have to look at the trend. We just trade within the range. So now we have a higher high right here. Once this higher high is established, I will mark up the structure there, and then we'll have a range to look at. Because right now we just don't have a range to look at right now. Price might push back up right here, reject off the opening price, and then come right back down. So a couple of things to look out for here would be, and there's another CV entry right there. So another CV entry right here. There was a divergence as well right there. I mean, I wouldn't have taken it yet because of the trend shift. But yes, you're right. I know the divergence did come up there. It was buy signal, retracement, divergence right here, and then it looks like it's pushing back up even further from there. The thing that I would be careful for here is just that because price is at the higher high, that I think would be a little tricky. Because here's the thing, when you get the higher high, this could be a ceiling or it could not be a ceiling, right? It's kind of tricky. You're taking a gamble there because this could be the ceiling or it can just keep pushing up higher and higher, just kind of like how these lower lows are being established. That's why I draw support at lower lows because that's where I identify support. And I mean, it doesn't always work out that way. So looking at this right here, you guys can see the divergence. This looks like price might be coming back down further because the divergence is coming back down, as you can see from this red line here. However, it's really close to news, so I'm going to sit out on anything here and just kind of wait. Because even though it's low impact news, there's even though there's low impact news, there's going to be, I mean, there could still be an effect in the market. I met this new guy today or yesterday at the gym too. He's an algo trader. He was telling me that the algo traders are getting all fucked right now. Everyone's getting screwed because of this sideways market. Um, so I mean, I think at this point, guys, don't try to look for a different strategy, right? Because I know some of you guys are probably getting frustrated because there's not a lot of entries that are coming up. I mean, I'm frustrated every day because there's only like one entry that happens every day. And so if I missed it, I'm like screwed because I have no entry for the day. And you know, in order for me to get that 20,000 goal, like I was doing the math yesterday and just it frustrated me even more because the thing is, if I'm not getting full profits per trade, so we're just say, for example, I'm making 600, right? 20,000 divided by 600 trades, 600 per trade. That's like 33, that's 33 trades that I have to win to get to the 20,000 mark, right? That's a lot of trades. Um, so it just frustrated me even more because I'm like, man, this market sucks because there's like one or two entries that come up. Some days there'll be more, but for the most part, it's like either one or zero trades. And it makes me want to like kind of look for something different, not something different, but something like within what we're trading. But I already know that's like not the way to go because at that point you're forcing a trade and then you're basically trading off emotion at that point. You're trading off emotion, you're trading off FOMO. You're kind of seeing these patterns come up, but they're not really like clear because of the sideways market. And you just got to stick to the game plan, right? So for me here, I'm gonna stick to the game plan. I know it sucks because I have to, well, it sucks for me because reaching that goal is a lot of trades. And then if I ever lose, it's like a setback, like another two trades. But I mean, it's all part of the game. It kind of makes me regret doing a 300K count, but it's okay. There's no rush. There's no rush to the process because uh, at the end of the day, it's going to be well worth it for the most part. All right, we got news right here in about 10 seconds. Yeah, no, exactly, Daniel. I was thinking that or even the 50Ks just to like have that coming in. Because the thing is the 50Ks are probably easier to pass. I think we talked about that yesterday. So like let's see, 6 contracts times 5 times 10, 300. So 300, 2,500 divided by 300. Yeah, so you guys can see it's a huge, huge difference here, right? So for me on the 200, on the 300K, it's 33 wins, but for a 50K count, you only need 8 wins to pass. So I could probably like mess around with some 50K counts and just play with those until I'm done with the 300. Yeah, they're super cheap. Yeah, you can have as many evals as you want, but you could only have 20 PAs. So yeah, you're right, Daniel. That's why for me earlier, I was gonna, when I had those 150K accounts that are all funded, I was gonna run the 300K alongside. And then once they were done, I would just flip them. But it is what it is. It is what it is. All right, Kenneth. Kenneth said he's calling. He's done for the day. I don't blame you. All right, so we got some profits here from Delicia. Delicia locked in a total profit of 2,160 per account. She has 4 accounts here, so well over 8,000 for the day. All wins on her PAs. Nice work, Delicia. And we have Kenneth over here with a total profit of 905 per account. He has 2 accounts here, so about 2,000 for the day. All wins as well. Nice work, Kenneth. We got Natasha here, total profit of 209 for the day. Nice work, Natasha. And we'll keep looking for entries here. I'm not done yet, guys, so we'll see. Well, so what I'm kind of hoping for here is a bigger push up. So a bigger push up, and then, maybe we'll be able to catch some divergence up here. There's price breaking this higher high right here. This would be a high-low scalp. The only problem with this is that the trend here hasn't really confirmed yet. And then on top of that, we don't really have, the divergence confirmed yet either. Let's see, Nick said, it says in the email when you pass, you have to sign a contract within 48 hours of passing. Yeah, I saw that email too, but you just have to keep paying the monthly fee. So what they're saying with that email, Nick, and I only know this because I messaged them myself directly to ask. They mean like that time period, like say for example, you pass your eval and then you have a renewal, and they won't charge you for the renewals within like the first couple days. But if you don't, then you just keep paying for the renewal. So you keep paying for the monthly, and you can just have that sitting there. That's what they meant. I mean, you can message them yourself. That's pretty much what they told me. And I only know this is possible because I know other people too. There's like people in my area, like there's a couple guys at my gym that trade Apex as well. And they there's this one guy, he has 4 or 5 accounts that are already passed, but he's scared to go into PA because he's worried he's going to blow them. So he's just doing evals. He just keeps doing evals until he's consistent. And then once he feels comfortable, he's going to change those evals into PAs. So he just has 4 or 5 PAs, just we're not PAs, they're just evals that are passed and they're just sitting there. And he's been paying for them since January. Because he's worried he's gonna blow them. Because the first time he did that, he blew all of his accounts, and then now he's just kind of scared. But he's a new trader too, so just keep that in mind. He's only been training for 2 years, so he's more on the he also has a lot of money, so he doesn't really care about the spending. So I think his psychology is all fucked up. His psychology is totally messed up. He's too scared to take that next leap until he's ready. And then again, if you think about it, the PAs, I mean, the renewals are not that expensive. They're for a 50K account, they're what, $20? So I'm pretty sure you guys could spare majority of people can spare $20 for 5 accounts. That's $100 a month to just have a PA account just chilling. The thing with him too is that he trades them individually. I could never do that. I don't know. I thought about doing that for a while, maybe trading the accounts individually, and then just passing them one by one. But that would take too long. That would just take way too long. All right, Nikki, we'll see you here tomorrow. So Nikki's done for the day as well. We got some more profits here from John. John locked in 1,000 on one account, 700 on the others. He has 4 accounts here total, so well over 3,000 for the day. Nice work, John. Solid profits there. This is a bad area to trade in. So looking at this right here, this area is just not a good area to trade in because there's so many red flags. I was hoping price would push up higher and past this area so that we can look for some trades. But at this very moment, there's just nothing. There's just nothing that we can do here because you guys can see all the red flags. We got all of the news price and sessions right here. We got all of the news price and sessions down here. got that sell signal right there. So I'm hoping the volatility pushes back up. I mean, if not, then we might be left with no entries for the day. I'm gonna hang out though, because it's 20, the ATR is still 22, so I think the ATR, like the movement might pick up a little bit after 740. So I might hang out closer to 8 today if that's the case. Because I know the trade's gonna happen. Like the opportunity is gonna be there. It's just gonna be a matter of time until it happens. Um, let's see, looking back over here, there weren't really many entries that came up, I don't think. There was a high-low scalp, but it was touching the session, so that didn't meet criteria. This right here didn't meet criteria for anything. This one either. Yeah, so I don't really see any official entries that have come up aside from liquidity today. I saw liquidity kind of push through. The PRB actually hit. I don't know if anybody took the PRB, that hit. So the PRB hit full TP right here. The breakout V3 never came up. Here's our clean chart. I guess I could draw a new structure here so you guys can see. I mean, price is kind of just ping-ponging, as you guys can see right here. It's not really doing much. It's ping-ponging between these zones. If I'm looking at this properly, it looks like this is the range. So I'm looking at this right now. This looks like the range. Actually, not this level. I think this level right here is the actual range. And this level right here. Let me turn this on real quick. Okay, so I think these two levels over here are the actual range. So let me just put this over here real quick. I think this right here is a fake out, and I think this right here is a fake out. So looking at this right here, I think this is the actual range. Price is within the range right now. So fake out above, range, fake out below, range. So if I was to take off all these zones right here, you can see that this is the actual range. This is where price is sitting, right? So this is why it's important that you draw all the lines, because if you draw all the zones, you can kind of see the picture, the bigger picture. This is the bigger picture right here. This is where you should be focusing on. However, these little zones in between, they do help because they kind of show you, okay, this is where the fake outs happened, and that's where you can kind of pinpoint where price is likely to move. So it's not looking good, because if that's the case, if that's the case, then we're stuck within these red flags right here. Like this whole area is a red flag. Let's see, John's asking, would that have been a BB3 continuation? So I wouldn't have taken it because the trend here is bullish. So I would only look for BB3 continuations to the upside. I mean, it's a pattern. It's the pattern that you would have been looking for. However, it's not one that I would personally take. For the BB3, like I said earlier, guys, you don't have to follow it like I do. Like for me, I trend trade. So I like to trade in the direction of the trend. The strategy can be used in either direction. You don't have to trend trade. If you feel comfortable taking BB3s in both directions, which I think when I first created the BB3 continuation, I looked at it with no trend. And you can see here that it still does work even without trend. But for me, I like to be careful. So I personally go with the trend. Like for example, over here, the trend wasn't bearish yet. We had a BB3 continuation right here and it played through perfect, right? Again, right here, another BB3 continuation. It was against the trend, so I wouldn't have taken it because it goes against my confluences and my criteria. But again, you can see here that it still works out perfectly fine. So yeah, John, that was a BB3 continuation pattern, not one that I would take because it's against the trend. But like I said, you can take it however you like. I did test it without the trend and it actually works really well. I think what you would have to do is you have to figure out a way to make it a one-to-one. Because if you do without the trend and you do one-to-one, you'll probably still make a lot of profit. You'll be profitable at the end of the day. There's so many BB3 continuations that come up without the trend. But then unfortunately we skip them because of the obvious reasons here with it being against the trend. So yeah, if you want to go back and back test it or even look back to previous days, I'm pretty sure you'll find a lot of entries that work for BB3 continuations, even though they're against the trend. You'd probably have to use like a 10-10 though. It'd be like a really tight, or even like I mean, if you want to use 10-25, you can, and just probably kind of just maneuver through the losses. Because I think 10-10 would just be way too close. Yeah, that'd be too close. It would stop you out immediately on entry. Or if you want to do 25-25, like a regular BB3. Because you guys got to remember, like the BB3, we didn't have that double body rejection. The double body rejection is new. So technically you can do it 25-25 and it looks like it'll still play through. Like a regular BB3 continuation or with the BB3 TP stop loss. But again, that's something that's going to be individual. It's going to be based on the person who's applying it. Let's see. Rashida said second touch on liquidity if it opens. Oh yeah, if it ever went up there, that would have been the case. But yeah, like I said earlier, guys, this is pretty much the range. So like I drew earlier, this is a fake out. This is the fake out. I mean, you can see it's a lot more obvious now that price is back down. This is the actual range within this area. The only problem here is that there's all those red flags, so you can't even trade within that range, even if you wanted to. All right, so price is coming back down right here. What I'll be looking for is I'll be looking for a momentum divergence. So I'm going to be looking for price to come down a bit, momentum to swing back up, and a continuation. Kind of what I'll be looking for here. Price is rejecting directly off the sessions right here. Hey, what's up, William? I haven't seen you here in a while. I guess you've been traveling or you've been busy. I think you said you were traveling like last week, right? Or last month. All right, so looking at this here, gotcha. Yeah, you've been on vacation. Makes sense. All right, so let's see. 7:44. I'm not going to go after 8 o'clock though, guys. So I'll try to look for an entry here. If it doesn't come up before 8, then I'm just not going to have any entries for the day. 8 o'clock is my hard stop time. That's when I know price is for sure going to go sideways. The ATR is still pretty high though. So if you look down here, the ATR is currently at 24. So it's actually looking pretty decent right now. Again, I just need price to drop down further. Damn. So I was looking for that momentum divergence. The problem here is that, again, it's going to be at the sessions. You can see here how it's swinging up. I actually want it to swing up a little more now. So I want it to swing up to maybe the sessions up here and then possibly come back down. Because the divergence here is now shifted back up. So we do have the bearish trend now. There we go, Nick. We just need this to retrace up a little bit. I need this to come up a little bit further. It's too low right now. So I'm even fine with it coming up and like rejecting off the news price or the sessions up here and then coming back down further. Or if it wants to come down from where it's currently at, I need it to actually close below the sessions here and stop messing around. Because if it keeps messing around this area, the divergence here is not going to line up with it. And I'm not taking any trades if it ends up being, touching the sessions over here. All right. So again, right here, I would like the retracement up. You guys can see how the volatility is dying down as we get closer to 8 o'clock. Let's mark up 8 o'clock right here. This is why I don't like trading closer to 8. The volatility starts to die down a little bit. Okay, so this is fine. I need price to kind of come down a little bit, maybe not too low, low enough. We have another high-low scalp opportunity right there. So this would be a divergence with the high-low scalp. Otherwise, if price wants to push up, that's fine too. Either way, price push a little bit, come back down, maybe take entry somewhere around this middle area, hopefully, if that would be possible, that'd be great. Otherwise, if price wants to just drop from here a little further, that's cool too. Okay, so it looks like the first setup that I was talking about is starting to line up. Thought I saw some breaking news here from CNBC. I think there's some news at 8 o'clock too, right? Logistics managers index, nothing crazy. They don't even have a forecast for it. All right. So yeah, price pushing back up. I didn't want the buy signal. I just wanted to retrace, but the buy signal comes up. Then it's going to push right back into this range here. Okay, so you guys can see the range is now fully established, as you guys can see. I mean, the range is pretty obvious. This is the actual range area right here now. So, well, this kind of sucks because the price is ranging within this area. And the problem with this here is that all these red flags are within this area. So there's not really much for us to really work with here. Okay, we might have one more opportunity here. So the buy signal is okay if it closes. So like I was saying earlier, the buy signal would be okay. We'd have to take the trade within this small area right here, though. The only problem is that we had news price right here. I'm not sure which news price with this from. It's from the morning. I don't even know where this news price came from. Well, whatever. Well, the buy signal didn't close. Yeah, because the trend here is starting to shift. So like we might be able to get like a breakout V3 continuation to the upside. If the divergence is there. But then there's like news price right here. All right, so we got a couple opportunities here. Price could push up, we can get a possible breakout V3 continuation. Otherwise, if price pushes up, pulls back down a little bit, comes back up, we can have another divergence entry right there as well. But you can see where price is projecting off directly off the news price right here. Okay, let's see if this pushes up and doesn't come back down. And as soon as I said that, it came right back down. All right, another buy signal here pending. Gotcha. Thanks, Nick, for the confirmation. That was the news price at 7:30. Oh, okay, I see it. I was like wondering where it was lined up with. I see it now. All right, so we got an invalid buy signal here. We got 10 minutes till 8. The ATR is still pretty decent. It's not really dropping yet. ATR is currently at 25 right now. There's nothing really pushing price around. There's no catalysts. Fundamentals are currently up 134 points. Retail sentiment is 59% short, so buys would be ideal. But that buy signal just won't close. All right, we got the other buy signal right here. Pending again. But you guys can see price is just within this range. I mean, it's not really, there's nothing new here. Here's our clean chart. You guys can see where I drew the range. You guys see where price bounced off? The range, of course. I drew that before it even happened. And it looks like it's just sitting within this range. So I drew this range right here. And you can see exactly where this candle here bounced off, this green one that just passed. This one, it's like literally bouncing off the range. So we'll see if this comes back down. If it doesn't, we'll see if it breaks back up higher. So if it breaks back up higher, this could be a good thing for us because if that's the case, then it could probably try to push up to opening price. I think that'll be the case. If it actually breaks above and continues climbing up higher, then I think it's going to try to fake out again above this area and then come back down, come back up, retest opening price, and then come back down, which is fine because we'll have enough space right here to take our buy. But it's just not looking like we're going to get that here. Frustrating trading day today. We got this buy signal here again. So this could set up for a breakout V3 continuation right here. The problem with this here that I was talking about earlier is that it's within the range. So, and it's not even looking like it's going to close. Might be able to see the momentum divergence here, but we'll see. So if this candle here closes strong, like a strong green candle, then I'll possibly be, I take that back. I wouldn't. Because if that was to happen, it would have to happen at like the very last second. And at that point there, that would just be a FOMO move. So I'm kind of just forcing it at the end. And it's not even looking like it's going to close strong. Or it might. Nope. So again, right there, no green candle. Josh, let's see you tomorrow, bro. Logging off before I FOMO. Yeah, good idea, Josh. So, all right, Josh, I'll see you back here. See you back here tomorrow. Yeah, Nick said good. Yeah, no, definitely. Keep your head on right. No FOMO trades. Yeah, you just gotta catch yourself, like I'm looking for reasons to take entries here, but really there's no reason to take any entries here. Like there's really no reason to force anything here because there's nothing that's coming up. Even if I wanted to take the breakout V3 continuation here, it's right at the news price. And on top of that, I mean, I think the worst part about this is that it's at the top range of the range, right? So this is just an area for manipulation and fake outs. This is kind of what happened to my loss a couple of days ago, right? Or last week, I think. Yeah, last week when I took that loss, I didn't go back to the main chart to see that, okay, there's probably a fake out that was going to happen there. And I FOMO'd into that trade, ended up eating the loss, right? And that's just something that you got to learn from. So I already know I got burnt from that last week. So this week, I already know not to screw around with the area there. So I cleaned it up a little bit so you guys can see it right here. This is pretty much the consolidation range. I'll just clean it up because there's like no reason to have all those extra levels there. This is really where the range is at. This is all that matters. Everything above is a fake out. Everything below is a fake out. This is really where price is sitting. Yeah, CJ said based on your prediction of price going back up to in that range, I waited until price broke and closed past structure at 748, entered at 749 for a quick 10 points. I don't know if that was detrimental to my psychology, but FOMO got to me. Yeah, CJ. So CJ said he got in off the balance, right? Yeah. So he got in off the balance, got in for a quick 10 points, pulled out, and wrapped it up. Yeah. Yeah, you got to be careful because yeah, it was detrimental for your trade psychology because it was a FOMO move. So it feels good right now because you won the trade, right, CJ? But if you would have lost the trade, you would have been so mad at yourself because you would have known that there was no actual entry there. You're just catching the bounces off the I mean, technically this could have been a CB entry for you. I mean, it still would have swung back up. But yeah, for me personally, I think it's kind of a bad habit, which I don't blame you. I have bad habits like that sometimes too. So this right here could be a possible momentum divergence. The only problem is that, no, actually, I take that back. It wouldn't because there was already a divergence earlier. The divergence, or actually, the divergence never actually happened. So if you look closely, the red pivot actually never crossed. It's so tight. It like the divergence isn't really moving. It's been so tight that there just hasn't been any divergence at all. So it actually never crossed. All right, guys. Yeah, it's time to call it. Just like Nick said, you guys can see we're getting random ideas here for FOMO. It's getting close to 8 o'clock. The ATR is pretty decent right now, but I'm not going to trade after eight. Eight is my cutoff. I already know I'm getting FOMO right now, just like a lot of you guys. So I think it's best to probably just wrap it up. No trades for the day, but no trades for the day, no losses, which makes it a winning day for us, right? Psychology wise. I think today was a really good day to test your trade psychology because there was a lot of FOMO moves that could have been taken. And if you guys were able to control yourself from taking FOMO trades, I think that's a big deal because that's usually what screws people, right? The main reason why people blow accounts or why they go on losing streaks is because they FOMO, they revenge trade, and they overtrade. For today, there was no actual official entries that came up, so it wasn't really much for us to kind of look for. And let's see. Daniel said MPS just came up. Let's see. Yeah, that was super close. It was super tight though, huh? Nice. So Daniel over here actually caught the MPS right there. I feel like for me, this wouldn't have even filled my position. If I was to get in for this MPS, I feel like it would have came down, not filled it, and then hit TP, and I would have been upset about that. All right. Yeah, so Daniel, I think this is the only official trade that could have came up today. Everything else didn't really come up. There was like a bunch of red flags in this area. Yeah, Daniel said it took 2 hours for that trade to come up, basically, and it swung up. So price is doing pretty much what we were kind of anticipating earlier. Like I said, price is probably going to push up to the opening price and then fake out again, maybe come right back down. This might push up, fake out off the opening price, and then come right back down. But yeah, like I said earlier, there's no reason to force any trades here. If you guys want to keep trading, feel trading. But I'm gonna wrap it up. So let's see the divergence over here. Yeah, so Madhu mentioned the divergence here actually played through. So it did. It came out right here on this green candle, but then it would have cut into the news price right there. Yeah, there's just a lot of red flags here. Like I was saying, this market is I think this is a good day to test your trade psychology because there's a lot of opportunities that look like they might have come up. I'm sure some people took them, but I think it's better to have self-control and be able to not take the trade, right? Because you can see over here, price came up, rejected directly off the news price. You would have been in some drawdown right now if you didn't get out of that position. So yeah, I mean, it's just not a good area. There's so many news events. And for this NFP, so if you guys have traded NFP with me, usually NFP is either really good or it's really bad. This week, it's more on the flat side, so it's kind of on the bad side. Typically for NFP, we usually have a lot of back-to-back entries. So if you guys have traded with me during any other NFPs, we have like, 5, 10 wins for the week. For this week, we have like only 2 wins, I think. We've only taken 2 trades for this week, 2 official trades. That worked, but it's a bit of a slow week. Yeah, exactly. Nick says because Maddie isn't here. He was here earlier though. I saw him pull in, and then I think he pulled out. I know he's taking a little break right now or he's just taking a step away because of how the market's moving. He doesn't want to make any mistakes. And I don't blame him. There's a lot of room for FOMO here, especially with how the market's been moving. Yeah, so I think for Maddie, he's been making a couple mistakes. He's been trading outside of the trading hours, so he just needs to step away for a bit to kind of regroup, understand what his trading plan is, and not revenge trade or overtrade. So my cutoff is 8 o'clock. I'm pretty much done with trading for the day. Yeah, CJ said I thought I saw him in here too earlier, and Sisu. Yeah, they've been popping in and out. I mean, Sisu, he hasn't really been chiming into the chat very much, but he's in this chat. I've seen him pop into because whenever you guys join the room, it gives me a pop-up. It tells me who joined the room. So I know who comes in. I know Maddie and Sisu were here for a while, and they're kind of just sitting behind. I think they're just watching the charts, but they're not actually trading, which makes sense. It's not a good market to trade in. So looking over here at the team profits, we have a couple more profits here from Natasha. This is her second account, total profit of 515 for the day, all wins. Nice work, Natasha. And we have Johnny here with a total profit of 1,615 per account. He has 4 accounts here, so well over 5,000 for the day. And I think that's about it. So if you guys have more profits to put in, feel free to send them in the chat. Otherwise, you probably don't have any profits to share, just like me. So no trades for me today, but I mean, it's all good. I'm still, I'm like one trade away from bringing the accounts back up for the week. But other than that, I mean, it's been a pretty decent week so far. Yeah, CJ said both of them have been quiet in the chat, missed their input. Yeah, usually Maddie's chiming in. I think his trade psychology is kind of messed up right now. So he's like better off just trading a sim account or just sitting behind the scenes and watching versus getting into trades like randomly. I think he kind of got caught in some of these liquidity trades, like the wrong ones. There's like, if you guys see here, there's like one liquidity trade that won't hit. And this happens usually on the opening candle and everything else hits full TP. And then maybe this one down here as well. So just make sure when you guys are taking these liquidities, I would probably avoid the opening candle and avoid if it's overextended. And this over here is obviously overextension, but it's all good. All right, guys. So no trades for the day. Today's just a flat day for us. No wins, no losses. So I count that as a good day for us overall. And other than that, let's see. CJ said, hey, Sean, I don't know if you've heard from any K2 members that live in Dubai, but I hope they're okay with the flooding and everything. Yeah, I've talked to some of them and they're fine. The flooding was just like in certain areas and like on the streets. But if you just stayed in your apartment or your home or your hotel or whatever, I think they were fine. It was just the flooding was happening in like certain areas, usually around where the streets were. And I think a lot of them kind of just stay indoors anyways. So yeah, it's crazy, right? The man-made flooding that they did over there. So and it's crazy. They have the money to fix it, so I don't think they really care. You know, they have insurance out there. Everything's gonna get fixed, and Dubai is gonna be Dubai. So, all right, guys, if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, we're gonna wrap this up for the day. It's after 8 o'clock. No entries for us to take here. Just one official entry that could have came up but didn't take, and that was the MPS.